Lego Marvel Super Heroes. I used to own this game on PS3 and I wanted to play it again, so I fucking bought it again. I rebought it. And this game was one of my favorite kids as a Wii. Wait, what? Pause! This is one of my favorite games when I was a little kid, and I've played it a few times since then, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it, but I haven't touched it in like years at this point. And I want to see if it still holds up today in the modern landscape of Lego games, and more importantly, how does it hold up against its follow-up games? So let's get started. Little side note, I won't be talking too much about the gameplay since the gameplay is very simplistic. I mean, it's a Lego game and most of these games have very similar gameplay styles, and there's not much to harken about here, but you know what, it's fun, it's simple, and it works, and that's really all I have to say. So you know what, now let's get into it. So I recently finished my playthrough of this game, and I have 100%ed it once again, and I know that it's kind of lame, but I don't give a fuck. I'm not half-assing this shit. Now, first off, I'd like to say that most Lego games, especially the older games, are super fucking similar. They're kind of just the same game, but what really sells these games are the IPs, and the Lego Marvel games are some of the best ones. So let's start with the story mode. To start off, the story in this game is pretty fucking simple. Like, stupid simple. Silver Surfer gets blown the fuck up, and he excretes like these powerful cosmic bricks, and Doctor Doom is using them to make superpowered weapons, and the heroes have to stop him. The story works perfectly for this game. It's easy to follow, and it allows for the game devs to incorporate a variety of different villains and heroes. Super fun and very reminiscent of a crossover event in like a comic book. The character roster in this game is also really well fleshed out. The main characters in this game primarily are Iron Man, Hulk, Spider-Man, Captain America, all of the Fantastic Four, Hawkeye, Black Widow, Wolverine, Thor, Cyclops, Jean Grey, Storm, Beast, and Iceman. You get to play as all of them in the main story, and it's a pretty decently sized cast, especially compared to other Lego games, especially the older ones. Plus, you get some good variety in there, and they all feel unique and distinct. Every character is fun to play as, and even if they have some overlapping abilities, they never put those characters in the same level, so it never feels monotonous, you know? Their animations are also awesome. I love their fighting animations, especially their idle animations. You know what I'm talking about, Iron Man doing the robot. I love that one. This game isn't tied to the MCU in any way, and therefore we're able to have awesome characters like the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, Doctor Doom, Magneto, etc. So that's a nice plus, and the character designs are great as well. Even if this game isn't tied to the MCU, it still has some MCU inspired outfits alongside with the comic book ones. The character writing in this game is also genuinely funny at times.
Hulk rip pants.
That's why my red, white, and blue uniform is form-fitting, yet flexible. I love American ingenuity.
I'd actually find myself giggling at some of these scenes, because laugh is a strong word, because the game is just funny. It's really funny. It's really self-aware. It's pretty satirical, and the tone is like fairly lighthearted, and the game does not take itself seriously at all. So satirical comedy works fucking perfect for this.
I knew I should have packed my anti-goblin arrows.
Legolas! Ha! Can you and the other Avengers track him down? I gotta do dishes, homework, explain to my girlfriend why I am always leaving her waiting at coffee places. I mean, my life is really hard.
Also, I realize I may have not used satire in its 100% correct traditional definition, and that's because I mean it less in the sense of using humor to criticize or ridicule someone and point out its flaws, and more so in a way where Marvel is making fun of themselves and making fun of certain character traits and tropes that coincide with their characters, like, for example, Spider-Man right there. Plus, the cutscenes have a cute little physical humor that the Lego games always have, and I love that shit. You love to see that. The levels in this game are also some of the best levels in any Lego game to date. These are so much fun. They are so creative, and they're all completely distinct from one another. They take place in iconic places from the Marvel Universe and have an assload of cool ass villains. Like, let me just describe some of these to you. In one level, you get to chase down Green Goblin in Oscorp, and Venom comes out of nowhere and he symbiotes the whole fucking place up. And Venom has one of the coolest goddamn cutscenes in the entire game. In another level, you have to break into Stark Tower. You get to play as the Mark 1, the Mark 42, and you get to see that awesome, badass suit-up scene from Iron Man 3 where he does the cool little fucking flip. You get to fight the fucking Hulkbuster. You get to unleash House Party Protocol. There's another level in the raft where you get to see all these cool-ass, iconic Marvel villains, including the man himself, Magneto, and I love Magneto. Speaking of him, in one level, he literally takes control of the Statue of Liberty. He's such a big deal in this game, and I love that. And as you've noticed, most of these levels are themed, and there's just something about it that makes it so satisfying? I don't really know what word to use, but there's something about playing as all of the Fantastic Four in Latveria when you get to fight, okay, well, you don't fight Doctor Doom, you fight the Green Goblin, but you know what? It's still cool. There's also the one where Thor gets introduced, and you get to play in Asgard, and you get to have one of the coolest fucking boss fights in the game, the Destroyer boss fight. I fucking love that fight. It's so aesthetically pleasing, and it's so badass. But the coolest theme level is probably the X-Men one, where the X-Mansion gets broken into, and you get to see all these fucking cool-ass mutants and play as all these awesome-ass X-Men. Fuck, I love all these levels, man. But I could really go on and on. So, you know what? Let's just take a moment here to talk about the villains in this game, which are pretty fucking cool. I would say the main three villains are probably Loki, Doctor Doom, and Magneto, which, as cool as they are, it's pretty standard for Marvel. But the story, the setting, and all these levels allow you to play against a lot of cool-ass villains. You get to fight Red Skull, Sandman, Sabretooth, Venom, Doc Ock, Juggernaut, MODOK, Green Goblin. The list just goes on and on. Like, I barely scratched the fucking surface. I think that the levels, the characters, the boss fights, the villains, the locations, the setting, the aesthetic, everything about this game is just so much fun. This game oozes charisma, and all the characters are funny, their animations are unique and cool, and the story mode is pretty fun and engaging for how simple these LEGO games can be. And I think if you're either a child or a Marvel fan, you're gonna enjoy this. So if you're either one of those things, I really strongly suggest that you give this a try. It's pretty fun, and it's definitely worth your time. You're definitely gonna enjoy it. Now, if you don't play LEGO games or don't know anything about these games, then you would probably assume that that's about it, and that the post-game wouldn't have much to offer. But if you do play LEGO games, you know that's very, very incorrect. One of the biggest reasons that I love these games so much is that they shift from a pretty straightforward game with simple combat, easy puzzles, and fun level design, and a fairly short story mode to a massive collectathon with literally hundreds of collectibles. And I'm not joking. We got 11 red bricks, 26 new believer ranks, 50 Stan Lee and Perils, 115 unlockable characters, 150 mini kits, and 250 gold bricks. Yeah, postgame has a lot of shit in it. First off, you can go back and replay the entire story in free play mode. You're free to choose any level you want and replay it as any character you want. And each level has 10 mini kits, a Stan Lee and Peril, one character, and the stud counter. Now you can access areas that you previously couldn't, or complete puzzles that you previously couldn't, and scour the level for these mini kits and shit, rescue every Stan Lee, and now you can switch to any character you want at will. This part of the game is pretty fun on its own, but I think everybody knows what the real attraction is here, and that is the New York City Sandbox. The open world sells these games. You're given a decently sized New York City sandbox, and you can play as any character you want. You can fly around New York, you can dig around on the streets, you can cause mayhem in the traffic, you can do whatever the fuck you want whatever your little heart desires. And this open world isn't empty either. It houses the majority of the collectibles in the game. You walk around, there's fucking gold bricks, character tokens, vehicle tokens, there's races, there's little side quests you can do. There's just a bunch of shit to do in this. The city is filled with fun little puzzles and cool mini games to play. These are super simple and super satisfying, and they take up most of the open world. You'll always be doing something slightly different, which is what makes these work. They never feel tedious or boring because you have to constantly switch characters depending on which ability you need to complete it. And lots of characters have overlapping abilities, so you can switch it up from time to time and choose different characters. That's what keeps these fresh and fun and engaging throughout the entire game. I also love the races in this game, even if the driving and the flying can be kind of fucking jank by today's standards. It's still really fun. The flying races are pretty cool, and the vehicle races, especially against certain characters like the Punisher and fucking Ghost Rider, those are really fun too. I think my favorite ones though are the rooftop parkour races. These are fucking awesome. I love these. You have to choose an acrobatic character and go through like a little parkour obstacle course. You get to jump across rooftops, and at the end of it you get a gold brick. What a nice reward. These races are still fun to replay, even though you don't get a gold brick after the first time. You just get a stud. But I don't really care because I really enjoy these races. They're one of my favorite parts about this open world, especially the parkour ones. I do genuinely think that these races are fun enough on their own to warrant replayability without a reward. That's why I love these races so much. I also really like the side quests in this game. They're really fun. There's a decent variety of them to keep them fresh. There's a bunch of fetch quests you can do. You can Uber around random civilians to places, or maybe even just have a straight up brawl and fight some fucking enemies. Plus, some of these civilians have multiple quests, so there's one line of quests where you have to help this couple repeatedly meet up on top of rooftops, and this guy is so whipped for his woman. It's fucking amazing. You love to see it. There's an old lady that keeps losing her cat, and you have to keep finding her cat in like the dumpsters. There's just a lot of fun quests in this game. Plus, these quests aren't limited to these random fuck-ass civilians. You can do quests with iconic Marvel characters, and at the end of their quest, you get to unlock them. It's fucking awesome. Rocket Raccoon, Blade, Punisher, Heimdall, Gambit, Deadpool, etc. All these characters have their own line of quests, and even some more that I didn't mention. These kick fucking ass. They're simple, they're fun, they're very rewarding, and you can get a lot out of these. You can get gold bricks, vehicles, characters. They're just so fun. I can't fucking help it, man. Another cool thing about this game is the role that Deadpool plays. Now, Deadpool is in all of the 15 main story levels as a little Easter egg. He's just like hiding in every level. You just have to find him. It's like Where's Waldo, but with Deadpool. He's hard to spot in some, but he's pretty easy to find in others, but he's in every level. He's just like a cute little Easter egg, you know? But in the post game, Deadpool has his own set of levels, and they're all fucking awesome.
What's up? Looky here. Hawkeye and Black Widow at the circus have gotten gooseberried by Iceman. Huh. As if things weren't bad enough for our merry bowmen, Nightmare has decided to take center ring. This trio are gonna need some help with this guy. Since I'm not available, Ghost Rider is so the guy to do it.
In the open world, you can see these little icons, and these are Deadpool levels. You walk inside and are thrown into a cool little side level, and Deadpool narrates it. He gives you a cool little introductions, and he's just doing the regular Deadpool thing, breaking the fourth wall, cracking jokes. He makes imitations of these characters and makes fun of them a lot.
The incredible strange tales of Deadpool. It's movie night over at Reed's house when, Doctor Strange, in some kind of strange trouble? How strange! To the jet! Oh no! Trapped by the nefarious Dormouse guy!
You shall.
These levels are fairly short and will only take a few minutes to complete, but showcase a lot of cool Marvel heroes and villains outside of the main story. There's a fucking Lizard level, a fucking Ghost Rider level, a goddamn Doctor Strange level, and there's even some really goofy ass ones where Tony Stark has to throw a party There's one where J. Jonah Jameson makes Doc Ock and Agent Coulson clean up the Daily Bugle. These levels are fucking awesome, and they allowed you to unlock characters. You can get the Stan Lee and Perils. You can get the 11 red bricks for extras and cheats. And once you get all the red bricks, you can unlock Deadpool. These levels do have to be unlocked though by collecting the gold bricks. And the last one requires you to have at least 200 gold bricks to play it. But I really don't mind this. These levels are so much fun to play, and they're super short and sweet. They don't overstay their welcome, and they're as high quality as the main story levels. They have the same charm, and the Deadpool narration at the beginning really sells it. Plus, we got Nolan North, the man himself, the iconic Deadpool voice actor, to voice his Lego counterpart, and that's just fucking awesome. Earlier I mentioned the Stan Lee in Perils, and a lot of Lego games have like the blank in peril, like Citizen in Peril or Student in Peril and shit like that. But Stan Lee has the best ones by far. First of all, these are fun and easy, and you get rewarded with an ass load of studs, especially if you have that multiplier on. Just fucking forget it, dude. There's so many goddamn studs. There's 50 of these scattered across the whole game, but what makes these the best in Perils is the reward. Because when you get all 50, you unlock Stan Lee. And let me take a moment here to say that Stan Lee is one of this world's greatest treasures and is one of the amazing minds behind so many iconic characters. And he was one of the nicest, most genuine people in pop culture. And he's one of the few celebrities that was a really genuinely good person. And he will be missed by so many people, including myself. May he rest in peace. I'm really glad they did him justice in this game. Unlocking him feels so fucking satisfying because he is the best character in the game. And I'm not saying this just like dicking around. This is no bullshit, dude. He's objectively the best character in the game. He has more abilities than any character in the game. I think the only thing he can't do is blow up silver Lego objects. And he can also transform into fucking Stan Hulk. They really did not hold back with Stan Lee in this game, and fuck, dude, I'm all here for it. I'm so glad that they made Stan Lee such a memorable and amazing character in these games. And he's the best character in all three of the Lego Marvel game. Both Stan Lee and Deadpool are going to be some of the last characters you unlock, because the last Deadpool level requires 200 fucking gold bricks. So getting the last Stan Lee in Peril and the last red brick will be endgame shit, which I really do like. It makes both of them feel like big ass achievements in this game, like you really worked for that shit. It makes it feel earned. I do prefer Stan Lee though as a character, but Deadpool's still a cool character, but his levels make up for it. His levels are fucking awesome. They're so much fun. Both of them are great characters. They're great in their own rights, and I'm glad they're harder to unlock than most of the other characters. Now, speaking of characters, this leads me into one of my... No, you know what? Honestly, probably my favorite thing about this game, and that is the fucking character roster. Boom! Look at that. I mean, you've probably seen it throughout this video, but look at that. So many goddamn characters for you to choose from, and a lot of people say quality over quantity. No, it's the other way around. What the fuck? Quality over quantity. No, yeah, quality over... Fuck! Lots of people say quality over quantity. You know, that's the classic saying. But TT Games was like, guys, we can just have both. And this game has both. It has an amazing set of characters, and it has a shitload of them. It has a lot of fucking characters. Even compared to some of the more modern Lego games, this character roster is still pretty damn beefy. So that's the quantity aspect. But what about the quality? Well, the great thing about this game is that it has minimal ties to the MCU. Therefore, the roster includes lots of awesome Marvel characters that have been forgotten by the masses because of the MCU. These are still big characters to Marvel fans, but they're just not as mainstream. Characters like Blade, Beetle, Taskmaster, Super Skrull, one of my favorite villains from my fucking childhood, Gambit, Nova, Havoc, fucking Black Bolt, Dormammu. This character roster is just perfect. It's fucking perfect. And I just need to gush about it a little, so let me just talk about my favorite characters. First off, Green Goblin. I love flying around as Green Goblin. I love it so much. I just throw fucking pumpkin bombs at people. It's so much fun. Gambit, most fun combat in the game. fucking lizards in this game, and his transformation animation is so badass. Taskmaster, I love his combat, and he's one of my favorite characters to play as for the parkour. Black Panther's design in this game is fucking awesome, and Deadpool's fighting animations break the fourth wall. I didn't even know you could do that in a Lego game, but you can. You got fucking Venom, who transforms into Big Fig Venom, and the animation is just so badass. Fucking love it. Even the goons in this game are cool, and they're usually known for being the lamest fucking characters on the roster. In LEGO games, they're always there to just fill up space. Aside from iconic Marvel organizations like Hydra and AIM, you got those there. You also got the fucking symbiote scientists. I mean, look at that shit. And look, Sandman is one of the coolest and most fun characters to play as. I love Sandman. I mean, look at this running animation. It's so smooth. I love just surfing through the streets. But to be honest, I might like the Sandman Goon more than Sandman. They put actual effort into this. The Sandman Goon is entirely different, and he uses a fucking musket to shoot sand. Electro, Daredevil, fucking Punisher, Silver Samurai, Silver Surfer, War Machine, Whiplash, Carnage, Ghost Rider, Juggernaut, the Hulkbuster, man. They even got Ultimate Green Goblin, dude. He's fucking badass. Doctor Strange, Doc Ock, my two favorite fucking doctors to play as. I could just go on and on about this roster, so I think I have to stop this now. This game also has DLC, but they aren't too much to rave about. They're pretty minimalist. I mean, you have the Super Pack, which is actually pretty cool. It's a pretty cool DLC. You get Beta Ray Bill, Phoenix, Falcon, Classic Hawkeye, Symbiote Spider-Man, the Winter Soldier, A-Bomb, and fucking Thanos. That's a pretty cool ass pack, but the other DLC, the Asgard character pack, that one's kind of poo-poo. It kind of fucking sucks ass. It just has Malekith, Curse, and lame-ass characters from Thor the Dark World. Fucking terrible fucking movie. That movie is so boring. The only cool character here is Odin, and even then, he's just a reskin of Loki. But this DLC, both of them are pretty cheap. They're only a few bucks, and they're pretty worth the price, I would say. Now, I've been dick riding this game for a really long time, so I guess I have to try to criticize it. Let's just try to find some negatives here. I mean, I don't really like Hawkeye's design. It's kind of ugly. I prefer the classic one. I wish Wolverine in the main story had his alternate costume instead of the one that he has. Okay, but actually I do have some issues with this game, and don't worry, they're pretty minute. They're really not that big of a deal. I'll get through them. I saved them for last. Okay, so let's start with my biggest pet peeve in any of these games. Not just this one, in any of the fucking LEGO games. And it's this level. I really fucking hate this level. It's a bonus level, and these are always the fucking worst in any of these games. I fucking hate these so much. You have to collect a million studs with no multiplier. These are just boring and tedious and fucking bland, and I never understood why they were in these games. I truly, to this day, I still don't understand why they put them in these games. They're fucking terrible. They're super boring, and I hate playing through them every single goddamn time. But I have to for 100%, and if I had the choice to get 100% and not play that fucking level, then I would never touch that level. I fucking hate these levels. They're so boring. This is the only thing in this game that I actually hate. The last Deadpool level with Thor is also pretty forgettable, and the character unlock is not worth it for how late it is in the game. It's just classic Thor. It's just a reskin of Thor. It's whatever. This game's main story is great. It's pretty damn solid. I fucking love it. But the submarine level is probably the worst. It's a pretty big outlier. It really stands out. You're just in a submarine, which is the most unexciting location out of all of the levels, and it's just so damn bland. And then it gets destroyed, and it just becomes a water level, and you're restricted by Jean Grey's bubble, and it just becomes so slow and sluggish. It's just too tedious, and I don't like playing this level. The last two levels before the Galactus fight are also whatever in terms of the setting. You're just in a generic sci-fi spaceship. It's really nothing special. I mean, I guess the boss fights are cool, but these levels really do lack a lot of the charm that the rest of the game has. The character customization in this game is also meh. It's whatever. I only did it because it's required for a trophy, but I did make this cool little Wolverine design. I do like this one. Also, the character customization for the big figs, especially for the big figs, is terrible. It's fucking garbage. You can just choose one model and change the color. That's all you can do. The helicarrier doesn't have too much to do on it, and it honestly feels pretty goddamn small inside. There's maybe like 5 missions to do in there. There's just nothing special about it, and I literally would never go to the helicarrier if there was nothing to do on it. It sucks. It's not too exciting. It's just generic, and all the characters you unlock are like generic shield agents. Now these are most of my complaints with this game, and they're pretty minute, and they don't even come close to ruining the game. Not at all. I do have one last gripe with this game, and it's kind of weird and a little bit specific, is that the soundtrack is kind of ass. It really sucks. There's nothing special about the music in this game. The music in this game is pretty damn boring, and I really feel like they could have done a better job. However, this game is still amazing. It's a ton of fun. The main story is great. It's super solid and has a great cast of heroes and villains. The post game is outstanding. It has a lot of content. The character roster is fucking amazing. It's quality and quantity. The bonus levels are awesome. They really didn't have to add those in, but I'm really glad that they did. They went above and beyond to include them. It's a fun game, and it won't take you too long to beat it or even 100% it. Realistically, it would only take you a few days, and it's a pretty fun time waster. This game goes on sale all the fucking time. I rebought it for the PS4 for like $5. If you see it on sale, I highly recommend you give it a try. It's 100% worth your time. I promise. That concludes this video, and next time I'll be tackling LEGO Marvel's Avengers, the sequel to this game, to see how it holds up to this one. I mean, this one was pretty damn good, so we'll have to see. But thank you for watching.